So Novara Media has sent me to Birmingham not to cover a strike, not to cover a by-election result, but to cover a football match, because tonight is Aston Villa versus Israel's biggest football team, Maccabi Tel Aviv, a match that has become, if you'll excuse the pun, a political football since Maccabi Tel Aviv's fans got banned from attending. Keir Starmer called this decision disappointing and said it would allow anti-semitism onto our streets, but it turns out that the police intelligence around the ban was more to do with Maccabi Tel Aviv fans' visit to Amsterdam last year to play Ajax, where this happened. Birmingham Council did not relent to the political pressure to overturn the ban. They kept it. There's no Maccabi fan here tonight. So end of story, right? Well, not really. There's still a massive police presence because tonight's game is taking place against the backdrop of numerous political protests. There are pro-Palestine protesters who say Israeli teams shouldn't be allowed to compete in UEFA competitions. There are pro-Israel protesters who are protesting against the ban of Maccabi fans, saying it's anti-Semitic. Earlier today, we spoke to a few people to try and work out what the fuck is going on, basically.
So I started following this story about 6 or 7 weeks ago. This was just after Ayub Khan, who's the local MP for Perry Barr constituency, which is where Aston Villa Football Club is, launched a petition along with the local councillor going, I essentially don't want Maccabi Tel Aviv and their fan base to turn up because of safety reasons, but also because of his views on the Israel-Gaza conflict. When the police and local council experts decided to ban Maccabi fans from coming because of worries about safety, that's when Keir Starmer, Westminster, the government, and what felt like the entire London media class turned its attention on this ban and decided this ban had to be overturned. Of course, Maccabi Tel Aviv fans could come to the city, and this was a top-tier political issue.
I've been following the club ever since I can remember. I've been a season ticket holder for 10 plus years.
What do you think of the people who are going to be there tonight saying Maccabi Tel Aviv fans should be allowed, it's anti-Semitism to ban them?
I don't feel like it's particularly anything out of the ordinary for European football games. Clubs are banned from travelling to matches. Matches do happen behind closed doors. So this, despite, this is only an extraordinary event because of the context in which it's happened. A European football game, one of the teams not being allowed to travel. It happens every year.
The team here, Maccabi Tel Aviv, their fans have got a history not only of hooliganism, but it's more than hooliganism. It's fascism when they are saying death to Arabs, and they're saying that there's no schools left in Gaza because all the children have been murdered. That's fascism, and we don't want that in our city. The ban was welcomed by us, by Shakil Afza, but it wasn't welcomed by the likes of Keir Starmer and the likes of Shabana Mahmood.
The Labour Party, Keir Starmer, Shabana Mahmood and all senior politicians have always thrown their community under a bus. This is exactly what Shabana Mahmood did with this issue and Keir Starmer by saying and kind of disallowing the intelligence of our very lovely West Midlands Police. West Midlands Police knew that this would be dangerous, not because the Muslims or the ethnic minorities, but because of intelligence came from Amsterdam. The fact that Shabana Mahmood is now calling and rallying that she will motion and lobby MPs to stand up against this, I think she should do her job as the Home Secretary. And she's targeting innocent people who are standing on the side of a road with placards and praying for the people of Palestine.
Lisa Nandy did say that she was willing to put funding forward, unlimited funding to protect these fans. We're saying if there is unlimited funding available to protect fans of other teams and other countries, then look at the state of our roads and look how much rubbish is in our road. Ladywood has a 40% child poverty rate. Why can't more funding be provided here?
And there's a kind of wider story here of Birmingham in particular getting a lot of attention recently. We've seen Robert Jemrick turning up and making a video claiming that he couldn't see a white face while he was walking around, which turned out to be not true. Would you put the story of this football match in that story?
I think Birmingham, because of its diversity and because it has had an outsized negative, it's borne the brunt of austerity for the past 15 years. These issues have become conflated, and there's this type of right-wing media adventuring in the city, which is using our area and the place that we live as a political football. to draw their own conclusions from. I've spoken to both Muslim members of Aston community, I've spoken to Jewish communities in the city, and there's already this sense of fear and mistrust because of the way this has been instrumentalised on either side. And I don't think it does anything then to kick back against the idea that Birmingham is this sectarian, ethnic enclave city where there are deep lines that can't be crossed between communities, which is a grand narrative imposed on this city from far away, when that's not the truth of how I experience the city and many others do.
And I'm sure you're going to be on the ground today in the protest. A telling sign would be, look at the faces that are in our protest. You'll have black people, white people, Sikh people, Christian people, Jewish people.
Yeah.
You'll have people from the LGBT community. You'll have people from all communities.
Everyone.
And then look at the right-wing protest. It'll be a very telling sign. And I hope Novara media will share this. And I hope you will bring reference back to looking at the demography of it. We will have all walks of life standing with us. Will they? That's the question that needs to really be answered.
Yeah.
So there's going to be a bit of a circus around the match tonight, and there's multiple different protests happening. How would you characterise these different groups?
So there'll be a core group, and perhaps this will be the largest, of people from the Palestinian Solidarity Campaign, from Stop the War, who are kind of like a rump group who will feel very earnestly about what's going on in Israel and Gaza. However, because of Keir Starmer and the media class kind of jumping on this safety ban, that went up as a kind of bat signal or catnip to chances on the outside to provocateurs from self-publicists. So we've had Toby Robinson donning a Maccabi shirt, hinting that he'll turn up. It's not known whether he will or not. We've got people like Ahmad Yaqub, who ran a couple of years ago on the Gaza ticket for the West Midlands mayoralty, who also is hungry for any media attention. What his aims are, I don't know, but that can be a provoking presence at nights like this when tensions are already high.
The criticism I've seen is that it's a bit of a bandwagon, but you wouldn't say that.
Look, everyone says that about me, about everything I speak about, but I've just got a habit. I speak out when I see something happening that is injustice. The great Martin Luther King said injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. The mainstream media or the right-wing media, whatever media it is, automatically target me, but they've been doing that for quite a while now, and it's good. There's no such thing as bad publicity.
You know, it's already not a nice atmosphere going into this game. It's the first match I've been to, probably in a long, long time, where I've had messages saying, be careful tonight, and you know, the away fans aren't there.
And it shouldn't be forgotten as well that there will be about 40,000 Villa fans in, the vast majority who will feel quite neutral about this. They might have some personal sympathies, but they probably won't want it clouding what they've come along to enjoy, which is a game of football.
Do you have a score prediction?
England and Aston Villa 3, Maccabi and Israel 0.
The main message we want to get across is that there's a very vicious campaign aimed at trying to isolate Israel, particularly around boycotts, divestment, sanctions, BDS. And this is the latest stage of that. Ahmed Yaqub, I think Ayub Khan, they have an agenda that's very specifically anti-Israel. Yes. Constantly repeating this idea that somehow Zionists are dangerous people who believe that Israel has a right to exist, that somehow are dangerous. I'm sure you've seen already all the placards that are up on the lampposts around here. And those people have used our civic institutions, like the Safety Advisory Group. They've used these bits of infrastructure that are normally used to just police football games. They've used them as a way of attacking Maccabi Tel Aviv. So, yeah, I think they're the people who've done the bamboozling.
Is it not just a fairly straightforward case of policing football? Like,
No.
You know, I think Frankfurt fans are banned from Napoli. What was it? Red Star Belgrade got banned from Spurs.
First of all, I don't accept that Maccabi Tel Aviv fans are any worse or any different to any other kind of fan.
Do you think that the 6 Israeli clubs that play on occupied Palestinian territory should move and withdraw from that?
Well, it depends what you mean by occupied Palestinian territory. Why do you say it's occupied? From Jordan, you mean?
Well, under international law. Because that's what the calls to ban Israeli clubs are based on. There's FIFA statutes to do with you can't play on another football association's land.
Yeah, but what they're
permission.
trying to do is they're trying to use, they're sort of weaseling around through rules. So FIFA has a rule that says, yes, as you rightly say, that you shouldn't play on somebody else's territory. But then they're trying to use that they're trying to bring in the idea that the West Bank, Judea and Samaria, however you want to call it, is occupied territory, and that is disputed. That's not clear.
Not under
and it doesn't
international
to
law,
me.
it's
I tell
not.
you, yes, it is. It is. I mean, well, it doesn't. It's not clarified because it used to be Jordan. Jordan have now given it up, and now Israel's left with this situation.
But are you denying that under international law, Israel's occupying the West Bank?
I'm saying that is disputed as to whether it's occupied and whether all of it's occupied and whether the West Bank or parts of it are. So they've already agreed the area A, B and C. They've already agreed a way in order to try and make progress. And then Israel, as you know, came out of Gaza in 2005 in order to try and make progress. And I look at these things and I'm not seeing people trying to make progress. I'm seeing people doing kind of gotchas like you've done, saying, but FIFA says this. In other words, you're trying to continually isolate Israel, which then justifies the attacks from Hamas, Fatah, Palestine Authority on Israel, and then you're just perpetuating the war. This kind of thing that you're talking about, you're just perpetuating this antagonism rather than looking for a solution. I'm hearing people say Zionist baby killers, not welcome here. Young people who fight to defend their nation are being accused of all sorts of crimes. I'm not hearing anybody putting forward anything positive to how to resolve and come up with a solution to this problem.
Do you understand the sense of feeling when, there have been a lot of children being killed?
Do you think I wouldn't understand? I mean...
No, I guess I'm just asking. Because you're kind of saying, I'm hearing baby killers, but it's like babies have been killed.
Yeah, but do you think that's a normal way for grown adults to behave? That when there's a war in which people are killed, obviously, you then run around hysterically screaming baby killer. Do you think that's a normal thing? I mean, do you think that's kind of a progressive mindset? Is that a left-wing view? To just simply shriek baby killer?
I don't know, I guess I'm saying I can see where the strength of feeling comes from.
Well, it's not strength of feeling, it's completely ill-informed bigotry. Great, I think we've got to go.
The pro-Maccabi Tel Aviv demonstration is now walking towards Villa Park, basically in total silence, which is interesting. I'd say there's about just under 100, maybe like 75 people. They're basically saying that the ban on Maccabi Tel Aviv fans, which apparently was based on police intelligence to do with specific crowd trouble at Ajax in Amsterdam, they're saying that is part of a wider agenda to chase Jews in general out of public life. That's their line. I thought it was interesting how he mentioned Ahmed Yaqub, who we spoke to earlier, a few times. And it's almost as if Yaqub, who is a controversial figure, is a bit of a kind of fall guy for the pro-Zionists, or a convenient bogeyman.
Excuse me, sir. Yes. I'm reporting live from Urban Scoop.
Yes.
On behalf of Tommy Robinson. I'm on his excellent YouTube live channels now and Gouchy Reports. Obviously, I see you're a passionate fan here. Do you live in the UK? Have you come over?
No. I'm actually from Nazareth, which is the largest Arab city in Israel, or one of the largest Arab cities in Israel. I'm an Arab citizen of the state of Israel and a fan of Maccabi Tel Aviv since 1996. I'm here because I want to shout the truth and the reality about our country. I'm here because I want to say that the fact that in 2025 in the UK, Maccabi Tel Aviv fans cannot come here because of their identity, because of who they are, who we are. This is something is unacceptable in UK 2025. It feels like we're going back to the 1940s.
Okay, so kickoff is approaching, but we are approaching the pro-Palestine demonstration, which from the looks of things is quite a lot bigger. It seems a bit louder. There's a lot of Palestine flags. Yeah, we're gonna see what's happening.
I'm a big football fan, so I'm here in solidarity with football fans everywhere to say, Israeli teams should not be competing in world football, in international football. Israel should be isolated. Israel is committing genocide in Gaza. The things they've done to the Palestinian people are disgusting. So I'm here to show my support for the Palestinian people and demand that UEFA and FIFA kick Israel and all their teams and clubs out of football now.
What team do you support?
Birmingham City. No, Aston Villa.
What's your name?
Luke.
And why did you come down to the protest today?
Well, I came down because I don't think Israel should be participating in any sport really, any sporting events. I don't think we tolerated it with South Africa. We didn't tolerate it with Zimbabwe in the cricket in the 2000s. We didn't tolerate it with Russia and Belarus recently, so I don't know why we're tolerating it with a team and a country that is committing genocide against people.
Right, I'm down here because Israel are playing Aston Villa, and the issue we have is a lot of the players are IDF members or ex-IDF members. Now, the IDF and Israel have been involved in the genocide, and that genocide has also included murdering babies. So to me, break it down to its basic components. We've got baby killers playing football. Now, let's talk on the language of the right. Now, if, say, 3 paedophiles were playing on their team, and they were saying, no, we ain't got a problem with that, everybody would be absolutely outraged by it, and rightly so. So that's why we're here, because we don't want baby killers in Birmingham. In fact, we don't want baby killers anywhere. And also, we want to send a message to the Palestinians. You're not forgotten, and we're standing in solidarity with you. A lot of the Villa fans are saying, keep, politics out of sport. But the reality is, politics is in sport. We support Ukraine, Russia have been banned. But also, again, let's break it down. We've got murderers playing football. So you can call that political, you can call that humanitarian, but at what point do you have to say, no, not on our watch?
There's a demonstration over there that would say kicking Israeli clubs out of UEFA would be anti-Semitic. What would you say to them?
No, it's not anti-Semitic, it's anti-Zionist. There's a lot of Jewish people who would agree with us. Back in the day, when South Africa was an apartheid state, they were isolated from international sport, and people used to say like, "Oh, let them in, whatever." But actually, it makes a big difference. It makes a big difference to the people of Israel. Will see that the world does not think what they're doing is okay.
It's not anti-Jewish. The Jewish people have got a long history in the anti-Zionist movement, in anti-apartheid movements. Joe Slovo, people like that. I just think it's ridiculous. I think they're trying to conflate too many problems into one thing. The issue here isn't that we want Jews not coming to Villa. I want everyone to come to Villa. I want the whole community to be out here. But it's Israel the problem, and it's the Israeli government in particular.
It's not anti-Semitic. We're against Zionism, and we're against the genocide. We've got a lot of Jewish sisters and brothers who've been protesting alongside us, against the genocide, what's going on in Gaza. So it's a bit of it's like a red herring. That's not the issue.
I think we're protesting against not letting the Israel fans here.
Yeah, that's right. Are you annoyed with the Israel fans not being allowed in?
Yeah, because in football there's no room for politics in football. Do you know what I mean?
Of the Villa.
So there's now a standoff between some Aston Villa fans and the pro-Palestine demonstration. Started when basically it seemed like Aston Villa fans started chanting Villa songs at the pro-Palestine march. So at first I thought it was kind of let's keep politics out of football kind of frustration. But a little while ago they started chanting about Tommy Robinson. So maybe it's a slightly different vibe actually. There was just a bit of kind of argy-bargy between the Palestine demo and Villa fans. What did you make of that?
The Villa fans just have a little bit of fun, yeah? I mean, they do it with all the other, teams they play. They just having a bit of a crack with us, and we're having a bit of a laugh with them.
Yeah, even the Tommy Robinson chants.
They're trying to wind us up, and the key is not to get wound up by it. Do you know what I mean? I don't think they even know or like Tommy Robinson. Tommy Robinson's now become an Israeli shrill. And funny enough, a lot of the racists now are saying, hang on, we're Britain first. Why are you supporting Israel? We have got more in common with a lot of the racist flag lovers than we have, you know, the bosses and the Keir Starmers and the Tories and the reforms of this world.